On a beautiful afternoon in Colorado Springs, Colorado, it's the USL Championship today. From Widener Field as the Colorado Springs Switchbacks welcome in Monterey Bay. Sean St. Jacques, Ryan Davis, our entire crew, ready to take this one by the scruff of the neck in the USL Championship this afternoon. A big one in the Western Conference. Let's start with the Switchbacks. Midweek in the Open Cup, Ryan, they were given a pretty stiff test against Kansas City. They passed with flying colors.
Tejada, Masaryka, the pressure from this Colorado team, starting with their front line, caused complete havoc from start to finish. And boy, did they set the tempo early and often.
The Switchbacks got their first ever win over an MLS club. They get to the round of 16 in the Open Cup for the first time in the club's history. 3 different goal scorers. Corey Bennett finishing it off there late on. Colorado Springs won by 3-0. And what do you know? Our Keg One Modelo player to watch is Corey Bennett.
And yeah, when he plays alongside Masaryka, just off his shoulder, he can finish all those moves, and the ball's coming in from the sides. He's the perfect foil or the perfect center forward for this Switchback team to finish in goal.
To your point, Ryan, he's fitting in like a glove with the Switchback setup. But for Monterey Bay, on their side of things, Widener Field's been a bit of a house of horrors for them. They've been here many times over the years. They've never won. They've never left with a point.
I think you have to simplify things today. Coming inside to this Colorado hell house, let's call it, you just have to be hard to be scored on. Take care of your defensive foundation, keep your shape, and just be hard to beat.
One of the surprising things for Monterey Bay so far this season has been the lack of goal-scoring output from Jordan Stewart's side. Wesley Leggett's got their only 2 goals so far.
But going back to being hard to beat, I think if you take care of yourself defensively, you will have opportunities to counterattack and give Leggett more opportunities to score. Now, the ultimate barometer for a team, how many chances created per game? And this Monterey team is lacking badly throughout the field.
Monterey Bay are desperate to get their first win of this 2026 regular season, but the Switchbacks are flying high off a really impressive win over Kansas City in the Open Cup. The kickoff from Widener Fields coming up next.
Tell me, are you ready?
Sponsored by McDivitt Law Firm. When it comes to accuracy, the News 5 weather team has it.
Hey, check this out.
He's out!
Now that's accuracy.
News 5 meteorologist Alan Rose. When you want the most reliable morning forecast, his accuracy makes all the difference.
Tell me, are you ready?
Sponsored by the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park.
Tell me, are you ready?
The big man gets his first with Colorado Springs.
Sponsored by McDivitt Law Firm.
Today's player walkouts are brought to you by Children's Hospital Colorado. Sean and Ryan back here with you. Switchbacks in Monterey Bay getting ready to clash in the Western Conference of the USL Championship today at Widener Field. Phil Long starting 11s. We begin with Alan McCann and the Switchbacks flying high after the midweek Open Cup triumph.
Yeah, but look at the defensive midfielder, Perez, who's going to be pulling the strings from deep. That's where chances get created, not up in the attacking third. It starts deep in your own defensive third. He's going to find outlets for them and get the ball in stride for Masaryka and Hanya to then feed Bennett.
Creek, Perez, in particular played so well midweek for the Switchbacks. Now the desperation side of things, Jordan Stewart and the Seasiders. Here's the starting 11.
I'm looking at Rebelard. He's a hard worker in midfield. He has to set the tone in the center circle, break up plays, get recoveries, and with those recoveries, you can then create a chance on a quick counter.
Two big notes here. First start of the season for team captain Nico Gordon in defense. Jordan Stewart feels that's a big addition. Paul, Leggett, and Leggett up front together. Haven't seen that a lot this season as well. But obviously Jordan Stewart is hoping that it's the key to finally getting 3 points on the board.
You know, I'm going to quote the Lord of the Rings. Eventually, Helm's Deep has to come into play, and you stick your foot in the dirt, and you said, not going to go back any further. Is today the day that Monterey stick their cleats in the turf and say, we will not go any further back?
Well, Robert Vince is our head referee. He will get the match started. We'll have that interruption that has become accustomed at the start of games here. Good crowd here at Widener Field. Of course, we had a solid atmosphere in the Open Cup as well. Colorado Springs beating Sporting Kansas City by 3-0. Alan McCann could not have been any prouder of the way his team went about that performance, particularly because, again, your first ever win over an MLS side, your first ever trip to the round of 16 of the Open Cup. But when we asked him what his thoughts were at the full-time whistle at the end of the Kansas City game, he said, are all my players fit for Saturday? That's what he was thinking in the back of his mind.
On to the next one. But it's the way they won, Sean. They outpossessed Kansas. They outshot Kansas. They had more corners than Kansas. I mean, they just took the fight to the MLS side and showed up for USL Championship in the US Open Cup.
One of 3 cup sets in the round of 32. Big shout-outs to Lou City, who beat Austin, and a gigantic shout-out to One Knoxville, beating DC United on penalties as well. But it's back to league business here at the weekend. Colorado Springs will get us started. The Switchbacks are going from left to right on a gorgeous afternoon here at Widener Field. Sean St. Jacques, Ryan Davis, our entire crew, it's always a pleasure to be with you. And Robert Vince, our referee, gives a free kick to Monterey Bay inside of a minute and a half.
Well, just the start you want for the visitors. Slow things down. You get on the ball now, try and get some confidence. Try to knock those nerves off. Now remember, this Colorado team, they set the tone with their forward line in their pressing, which put Kansas in a really awkward spot.
Awkward coming together there that could open up things for the Switchbacks on this far side. Lovely run into the penalty area. Could fall here for a chance. That's blocked away. Well, it fell to the right man. Corey Bennett coming from outside of the area. Good block from Monterey Bay. And the Switchbacks win it back in their own half with DeRoma and company.
We all know hindsight is perfect, but I really would like to see Bennett put the laces on the ball there. Go for power. He tried to place it with his side foot. Not impressed with the choice.
Bennett was one of 3 different goal scorers for the Switchbacks against SKC last time out. Saddam Masareka scored the second goal and assisted on the first goal, which was scored by Juan Tejada, who begins tonight's game on the bench.
You know, we talked about pressing against Kansas. Juan Tejada has that engine, that battery to lead your front line with any press.
Tejada, and then 2 of the players that get starts here at the weekend as well, Brennan Creek and Adrian Perez, both were fabulous against SKC last time out. And of course, Alan McCann will expect the same here again at the weekend. There is a goalkeeping change between the Open Cup and today as well. Christian Herrera played midweek. Colin Shuttler, former Orange County goalkeeper, gets the start today. It's been quite the battle, Alan McCann's told us, between those 2 goalkeepers for minutes at the moment. Both have been playing so well in training. Both, of course, have incredible amounts of experience at this level. But in the league, Colin Shuttler gets the nod.
I love that the fact that he chooses Shuttler for those cup matches, which are high-pressure matches, of course. So it gives his number 2 some legit minutes in sort of playing game-style minutes, which is so hard to replicate in practice.
Joel Garcia Jr. will take the throw, but the referee's told he has to go back to the right position. Part of the reason Joel Garcia Jr. is playing where he is today is because of the injury to Stuart Ritchie, who's not available for Monterey Bay. Riley Bidois, another big absentee for Jordan Stewart's group. The positive side for the injuries with Alan McCann and the Switchbacks is that Speedy Williams is getting closer and closer to being back in the squad. Still no Steven Echeverria, no Duke Lacroix, the Haitian international as well, as this is a heavy coming together here involving Garcia, who needs a moment. Good to see Garcia get back up. We were talking about the injury reports presented by Common Spirit Health. There's Lacroix, Echeverria, and Williams, as we mentioned. Facundo Cañete's a really long-term injury. Might not see him until maybe the fall months, if that, of the season. No Richie, no Bidois. Big absentees for Monterey Bay. At a tough time in the season for them. They're the last team in the West without a victory.
And now they have a set piece to defend.
Adrian Perez, the former Lou City man, stands over it. Whips in an excellent ball. It was near the penalty spot. Creek with the header back into the mix. It falls for Creek a second time. Bounces towards the edge of the 6. And finally, Kieran Dalton takes charge for Monterey Bay.
Well, Perez's delivery was 10 out of 10. It was always inviting for the forwards, always curling towards the goal. Makes it easier for the forwards to get a head on it. And we expect nothing less from the number 10.
Look at the all-time series between these two teams. The Switchbacks edge it in USL Championship play, but we mentioned it earlier, Monterey Bay have never left here with, forget about a victory, a point from Widener Field over the years. Colorado Springs have won 3 of the last 4, regardless of where the game has been played.
I think for Nico Gordon, we mentioned him in the open, his job is to organize that back line, keep their defensive shape, and just be tough to be scored on.
This ball's clipped into the middle. Garcia just gets a little flick on that with Hanya lurking behind him. It's out for a Switchbacks throw.
Again, the delivery is fantastic. The defenders, the centre-backs were facing their own goal for a second. Love the recovery, just to flick it on.
Last time out for Monterey Bay, a 3-1 defeat away to Indy. And before that, they did get a 0-0 draw in San Antonio. It felt like a positive result, at the time at least. Couldn't end up backing it up, unfortunately, after that. Elijah Paul does well here defensively for Monterey Bay and helps them get back on it with Sebastian Leggett.
And that's the kind of defensive bite this Monterey team needs. Have to engage. There's an imaginary 10-yard circumference around every player. You have to dominate that 10-yard circumference. And if every player does that, the results will change for Monterey.
Of course, we talked about how it's a massive game for Monterey Bay to get off the schneid and get a victory under the belt. It is an important game for Colorado Springs as well. Again, the Open Cup, obviously, is great. But they're still just hanging on to that 8th and final playoff spot. Still early on, of course, in this Western Conference race. If they drop points here, that would potentially open themselves up to falling beneath the playoff line and have a few teams potentially get ahead of them in the pace.
Well, that's the beauty of the Cup, right? That incredible win against Kansas will then spill over to the weekend. And now the players are just dying to get back on the field and start the game all over again. And I think we're going to see that today, especially in the attacking end. After getting 3 goals on Wednesday, they think they can score a lot more today.
Good hold-up play by Corey Bennett. Now Adrian Perez for Jeroma. It was played down the line by Isaiah Foster.
Oh,
Another lovely run, then the layoff. Shot is pinballed around. Monterey Bay clears. Only for the Switchbacks to win it back through Talon Maples, who serves it a little too overcooked down the far side for Masareka.
well, we saw a chance, well, actually a glimpse of a back heel by Isaiah Foster. And that's the exact sort of unrehearsed play coaches love. We call this the place between the corner of the 18-yard box towards the sidelines, Let's call that the landing strip. And every time an attacking player gets the ball around here, you have to become unrehearsed.
The takeaway, DeRoma. Adrian Perez with 2 on him. Tries to lay it off, and again, Monterey Bay closed the door on this near side.
Well, Rebelar was always going to be that box-to-box engine type of midfielder. He's going to create the bite and the intensity. And Monterey are going to need every bit of his industry today.
Just a talking to here from the referee for Rebelar's challenge, which was late.
Well, he wins the ball back fair and square, but as soon as he gives it away, he takes exception and goes right through the player. That's attitude.
Surely the referee's words to Rebelar were, one more of those, and I'm not going to be as kind. Hanya's ball was a bit into no man's land there, headed back for Dalton. Leggett dwelled on that a little bit. Hanya tries to chase it down. Garcia over the top, and again, Monterey Bay just struggling to keep possession for a length of time here.
Wow, look at the speed of play by Colorado right now, though. Everyone is on the same page. 1 touch, 2 touch. The ball keeps moving.
This is Frank DeRoma, who's also excellent in the midweek. Foster for Masareka. Still, Saddam Masareka. Put some pressure here on Milesevic, and it's a goal kick. Well, USL on CBS Sports Network wraps up the month of April with a Brinks Tires USL Group 5 matchup. Northeast rivals Hartford Athletic and Rhode Island battle it out at 7 p.m. Eastern on April 25th. Catch all the action on CBS Sports Network.
The rivalry will never die. We love it.
It's incredible how quickly El Clamico has caught on. Not just, forget about the USL Championship, in American soccer, period.
Yeah.
They met already, as you know, in the Open Cup earlier this year. Rhode Island knocked Hartford out. The rematch is going to be must-watch television.
Well, the Northeast is such big fans of this sport, and to have 2 teams so close to each other and similar in quality, it just lines up to be a great rivalry.
That one's going to be in Hartford, I believe. They're going to be rocking.
Yeah.
They're going to be ready for Rhode Island.
With a little bit of revenge on their lips because of that Rhode Island exit in the US Open Cup.
There is Nico Gordon, won an MLS Next Pro title with North Texas a few years back. He's come into Monterey Bay now for a couple of seasons. Jordan Stewart has loved him to bits. You can tell by the fact that he's given him the captain's armband that he's really appreciated what Nico Gordon's brought to the table, but it's his first appearance of the season. So again, it's great from a Monterey Bay standpoint to get him back. And to be fair, Jordan Stewart talked to us earlier this week. He's been in training. He's been getting as close to match fit as possible. Now we get to see how he does in a live game.
And if you're Nico Gordon, again, just like Monterey Bay, you don't want to complicate things. Positioning is everything as a centre-back, and that's the first thing he has to focus on in taking over that role.
Eventually it's thrown back in. Creek up ahead for DeRoma. Great pace from Frank DeRoma to get onto it, but ends up losing the ball.
What a tackle by Rebelar. Again, just getting a toe to it.
But then Monterey Bay gives it right back. Great ball into the middle from Hanya. It's last off of Garcia and out for a Colorado Springs throw.
Can't tell you how good and quality this ball is from Hanya. He puts it right in the corridor of uncertainty. Centre-backs facing their own goal now. So hard to defend. Good early ball to bend it around the fullback as well.
Patrick Berner to put it back into play for the Switchbacks here. At least initially, I'll leave it for Isaiah Foster.
Long throws are such a tool in modern football.
And Foster puts in a good one. It's headed to the edge of the area. Back out for DeRoma. Foster to the byline. Chance to cross this into the middle. Oh, and the shot from Hanya is saved by Dalton. Great feed by Maples.
It didn't score, but look at the speed of play in the attacking third. Everybody on the same page. And the execution was perfect. It came through traffic. Good save in the end, coming from Dalton.
It's going to be clipped over the top. Looking for Elijah Paul, who was double booked. Allows Shuttler and the Switchbacks to get possession back. Quite a tussle here in the middle of the park. Creek taken out by Belmar Joseph Jr., and he's the one who's penalized.
When the ball is bouncing and it's in the air, there is no master, but you get a very good glimpse to see which team is more engaged. And this Colorado team, they are so fired up. They're winning every second ball, every 50-50. Anytime the ball is bouncing, Creek is everywhere. That's the first challenge.
Great athleticism there by Hanya to keep it in play. This is Creek. To the byline. Just out of the reach of Patrick Burner. It's a goal kick. This portion of the match is brought to you by Sunbelt Takeover. Local hustle, national muscle. More promising play from Colorado Springs so far.
I think they've passed the test in the opening 15 minutes. Only how much to go? So I think if they continue to engage in the midfield like this and make it hard for Colorado to actually get a look at goal. And I think the referee, they want to get that one back. There was a chance for a play-on opportunity, and he called it back to the dead ball situation.
It is going to be a free kick. Still in a good spot, but to your point, Ryan, there was an avenue for the Switchbacks to continue their attack.
I mean, Perez is the last one to argue. He wants a set-piece situation from this distance, but there was a clear opportunity for a Colorado player to run onto that ball.
Well, Adrian Perez did score 3 league goals for Louisville last season, 30 years old. It would require quite an impressive strike to beat Dalton from here. There are other options, of course, for the Switchbacks. But Perez tries to beat him. Oh, and he does! Oh, it's sensational from Adrian Perez. It needed some strike. It was a masterful free kick. And the Switchbacks have the lead with a jaw-dropper from Adrian Perez, his first goal for the club.
It had power, it had curl, it had whip, it had all the fixing, Sean. And it just nestled into that top corner. One of the goals of the week in USL. I'm calling my shot. Adrian Perez. Referee may have made a mistake. He didn't. He took full advantage. That thing was about 30, let's say 28 yards out.
Outrageously good from Adrian Perez. Put it in the only spot that Kieran Dalton couldn't get to it. And the Switchbacks lead after a wonder strike.
You know, to have those type of hustle goals against Kansas and then to get a quality strike like that from Adrian Perez, what else is there for Colorado to do on the attacking third in the last two matches?
Well, Switchbacks goals this season are presented by Gold Hill. That was a golden strike from Perez.
You know, they had 7 goals coming into today's match in the last 5 matches. They're consistently getting chances to score every match. Now, defensively, Colorado has some questions they have to answer. But up top, I think they have enough motion, enough athleticism, and enough bite to get goals all season long. And then you have Perez playing from deep, picking out passes, and then delivering set pieces, not only directly at goal, but crosses into the box. It gives his forwards a chance to score every single set-piece situation.
Nick Ross was caught offside there, free kick for Colorado Springs. I don't think anybody will be complaining about the lack of advantage now before that last free kick.
No, not if Perez is going to be swinging him in from there.
That was a majestic free kick from Adrian Perez.
Like I mentioned, it had everything on it. Curl, whip, dip. It was Leo Messi-like.
And Monterey Bay find themselves in another familiar place, down a goal, down away from home, particularly here at Widener Field. And here's Masureka trying to thread the needle. Was he nudged off the ball there? Maybe, maybe not. It allows Monterey Bay to get back on it initially, and then they hand it right back to the hosts.
But look at the energy, the recovery by this Colorado team, pushing forward on that left-hand side. Ball's given away, no problem. They swarm like bees, and they get it back. And Monterey, to their credit, they've done a very good job of keeping.
Well, something's happened, I think, away from the play here. It's Hanya who's down. Garcia, I believe, has picked up a yellow card. This happened away from the ball, and Hanya might need some attention.
Well, the frustration is starting to boil over for Monterey. They did so well in the opening 15 minutes to keep Colorado in front of them, not getting behind their back line. Perez with an absolute gem. And now off the ball incident, Garcia, Hanya. We're trying to take a look there. It looks like Garcia put his shoulder into the chest of Hanya. And the referee and the assistant referee doing a great job in combining to get the call right.
Great job by our crew catching it as well.
I was going to mention that, Sean.
The yellow card is sponsored by Diversis Health, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. And here we are again. Adrian Perez a little bit further out this time.
I always talk about how awkward this spot is for free kick takers. It's a little close to get the ball up and over the wall to get someone to run on, and it's way too far for a shot. This is the only time I don't mind if someone tries something drawn up in the sand in the backyard. Other than that, keep it simple.
Well, Perez, I'm sure, is brimming with confidence after the last one flew into the top right-hand corner. This time he looks to find a teammate. Good shape on it, but it's headed back out for Deroma.
Did I mention how awkward it was?
It's clipped back into the middle for Dalton, and you were right.
Yeah, it's a very awkward spot for set-piece takers.
That's Garcia over the top, just out of the reach of Sebastian Leggett. So looking for his first goal with Monterey Bay. And the switchback just play through beautifully there. Over the top looking for Brennan Creek. And it's well defended by Kelsey Egu for a goal kick.
Knowing where the outlet is when the press comes, you can see a team that's starting to gel like Colorado. You can see a team that's playing with belief like Colorado. Every time Monterey gets even a snippet close to them, they know where the outlet is, they get around it, and they start their attack. We can't talk enough about that 3-0 win. You can see the confidence oozing onto the field right now by this Colorado team. And even the players who weren't on the pitch that day, they witnessed that. Then you meet together in practice the next morning. Everybody's buzzing about it. Everybody wants to get a chance to get on the field and contribute. Well, here you're seeing it.
Deroma. Lovely feed for Burner. This is Hanya. And Hanya's bumped off the ball here. But look at the hustle by Brennan Creek to win it back. It's whipped into the middle. Still up for grabs here. Was that handled? This is Perez. Play continues. It's fizzed across. And Egu clears.
Win every 50-50. The recovery, I mean, between Creek and Rebelar, I'm not sure who has more hustle stats under their belt throughout their entire career, but those two players are like the Tasmanian Devils of the USL Championship, and it's great to watch.
Burner putting on the afterburners here. He's brought down. And it's going to be a yellow card. Remember, Joel Garcia was the player that got booked earlier.
Let's not forget Rebelar's tackle earlier on when he went right through the Colorado player after he gave up possession. That should have been a yellow card. It was not given. This would have been his second yellow card. He would be off the field if the referee got it right.
Another Diverse's Health yellow card, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. So now that's Rebelar and Garcia on bookings for Monterey Bay. And Adrian Perez standing over yet another set piece for Colorado Springs.
Well, you said it, Sean. This dangerous left foot of Adrian Perez. He's about to whip this thing directly to Dalton, and all he wants is Bennett or one of his big centre-backs to just get a shiver of a touch to get it past Dalton. Just a touch. The trajectory should go right to the pink shirt.
3 men in the Monterey Bay wall. Perez again. Oh, put it right into a strong area. Still up for grabs on the edge of the 18-yard box. Egu's header away. Creek's header. And Monterey Bay were trying to move it up the field here. I think the referees brought this back for another off-the-ball foul. Egu was brought down. I think a yellow card's come out here as well.
Well, the big Canadian got one in the jaw. Here's that shot / cross by Perez. And Egu at the right here is about to engage. And that's a very high forearm. Good call by the referee.
Yep, it's Isaiah Foster who picks up a yellow card. And yellow cards are brought to you by Diverse's Health. First switchback in the book. Although I will say, again, another moment where you think, should the play have been maybe allowed to continue on?
Yeah.
Monterey Bay, again, had some distance and some, well, certainly some real estate to run into. Let's put it that way.
I've seen this creep out of the sport. Referees allowing play to go on and then bringing back the yellow card after the play finishes. It seems like the referees just let it go after a while. We just want to see the play continue, but please penalize the person after the play is gone.
Now a talking to here for Corey Bennett, who may have gotten into a bit of a tangled up moment with Nico Gordon. A talking to, nothing more. Again, we'll have to keep an eye on that now.
Well, remember, your center forward is the one who's he's your first defender. He's going to create the tempo for the rest of the team pushing forward and pressing. So you want Bennett to jab, touch, scratch, scrape.
Well, it was a miss kick there from Garcia, and it allows the switchbacks to swarm. And then Garcia is brought down by Perez. Free kick from Monterey Bay.
Now, we haven't seen anything from Monterey Bay in the attacking third. This is an opportunity for them to get their centre-backs up, get Egu and Gordon right up on the 18-yard line and float one in. It needs a second touch, of course, a flick on of some sort. But just a chance for them to get something on goal to raise that confidence.
Here is Sebastian Leggett. Flipping it towards the edge of the area. It is headed down, trying to find Wesley Leggett. And looked like Leggett follows through here. It's going to be a foul and a free kick. Looked like Corey Bennett actually took the worst of that back defensively. And the switchbacks alleviate the pressure.
That was a great delivery, by the way, by Leggett. It was fantastic. And
I'll make sure you watch the USL Championship in Spanish on 2DN, nation's leading Spanish language sports network. Go to uslchampionship.com for the complete USL TV listings. Talon Maples over the top. Eventually bounces all the way back for Creek. Burner, lovely little back heel. Maples for Mahoney. What a center back partnership that could be as the season rumbles along. Perez for Masareka. Saddam Masareka lays this off. Frank DeRoma. Masareka didn't find an avenue to pass or shoot. Oh, and then nearly gave it to the referee. Of course, it's not on either side. Here's Creek. Here is Matt Mahoney, one of the best defenders the league has had to offer the last few seasons. DeRoma, formerly of El Paso. Switchbacks, very patient, very deliberate. That's the word that Alan McCann has used a lot. He said, when we have the ball, be deliberate, be aggressive with it. Know where you're going with it. Know what your options are. Here's Hanya.
Every pass has a purpose. It's creating space for somebody else. Here's the big switch, which is going to create space on the far side. Look at the control.
Inch perfect from Maples. Fizzed in, looking for Masareka. It's still up for grabs. Oh, it falls for Hanya. What a save by Dalton. And on the follow-up, Perez off the bar. It falls back down off the bar again and bounces out for a corner.
Well, Dalton is in the middle of a nightmare at this point. Two fantastic saves, by the way. Look at this cross by Foster. Pinpoint, it puts the defenders in a lot of problems. And the second ball falls for who? A Colorado player, Hanya. Fantastic save by Dalton. Perez isn't finished yet, off the crossbar. And Dalton finally gets it to safety. But that save by Dalton, we talk about strikers scoring. That save by that goalkeeper kept Monterey in the game.
It's a Pepsi corner that's going to be headed away. Right back to work here. DeRoma for the Switchbacks. Plays it towards the byline. It's a lovely touch. It's clipped into the middle. Oh! And the header skims off the top of Corey Bennett's head and goes out of play.
Speed of play in the attacking third creates chances, and Colorado are going 99 miles per hour in a 50 mile per hour zone. They're just finding gaps everywhere, outpacing Monterey. And look at all the deliveries. All of them are right on point. Just really, really impressive attacking display by Colorado. I would not want to play them anytime for the next 4 or 5 weeks. They are red hot after that Kansas win.
Particularly here at home, of course. Monterey Bay has got to deal with the altitude as well. Widener Field sits at just over 6,000 feet above sea level.
Wow.
Which is the highest altitude for a professional soccer stadium in the country. The hustle from Garcia to keep this in play. Finds Nick Ross. Gets it back from Leggett. Ross, lovely ball up ahead. It's the layoff for Garcia, who couldn't thread the needle.
But you love the adventure by Monterey. They need more of that type of possession.
Poked forward by Masareka.
Options.
Corey Bennett leads the charge for the Switchbacks here. Takes it to the byline, cross into the middle, blocked out. And it'll be another Pepsi corner on the far side. He was trying to find the goal scorer, Perez.
Full credit by Monterey. They stayed compact. They made sure the only space for Colorado was outside. No black shirts were allowed to be free. Again, make yourself very hard to be scored on. That's what Monterey needs to be focusing on right now, even though they're just a goal behind.
Again, the corner is brought to you by Pepsi. Pepsi, that's what I like. Brennan Creek. I think he was ready to deliver the corner. His teammates were not. go through his routine again. Creek's delivery is headed to the outskirts for Frank DeRoma. DeRoma pushes it towards the byline.
Oh, change of pace.
DeRoma does really well. And the cross is touched into the air for Belmar Joseph. Joseph can't quite clear it, but it's a Monterey Bay throw.
Joseph did nothing wrong there, but DeRoma was just that much better. Change of pace, used his body well. He kept Joseph on his left shoulder, rolled right around him. Again, Monterey staying compact. There was no danger when the ball came in.
Matt Mahoney just needs a moment. The ball deflects off of him and goes out of play.
Sean, possession count, Colorado 62% to 38. And then the chances being created, it's just been left, right, center, anywhere you want. 6 shots to 0 for the home team.
The superb Adrian Perez strike from the free kick is still the difference maker.
And that's a testament to Monterey in the first 35 minutes. That's how good Colorado is playing.
It really has felt like a Switchbacks tidal wave at times in this first half. Garcia wins the free kick again, just trying to give the Seasiders 1 or 2 moments to regroup. This portion of the game is brought to you by Sunbelt, local hustle, national muscle. This is played over the top for Wesley Leggett. And Leggett is in an offside position. Wesley Leggett scored against Indy last time out, scored away to Sacramento a few weeks back as well. Those are the only 2 goals that Monterey Bay have been able to muster up this season.
Sean, we're talking American soccer. We have an American coach coaching Real Sociedad today in the Copa del Rey final. Maybe the first time an American coach can win a trophy abroad. Just showing how this sport is growing leaps and bounds in this country as you and I enjoy the USL Championship.
It's taken the Switchbacks a moment to choose a throw-in taker, though to be fair, Isaiah Foster did take the long throw last time. Foster's throw again is pretty well placed. It's touched out of the area. Again, DeRoma always there to sweep it up and get the Switchbacks back on the front foot. The layoff for Hanya. And then was Hanya bundled over there. Play continues with Rebelar. Remember on the yellow, Hanya got right back up and then he goes down here. Referee waves away the penalty. Maybe feeling that Hanya went down too easily, not once, but twice.
Well, Hanya was brought down by Rebelar there. Gets back up and look at it. He eats up the space in front of him and he gets in front of Joseph. Sorry, that was Egul rather. And I gotta tell you, Sean, that is a lot of contact for a centre-back on your back. That's no longer shoulder to shoulder. Hanya had the edge.
Hanya whips the ball into the middle. It's headed out towards Perez. Leggett gets a piece on it. Overhead touch by Creek. Corey Bennett's looking for the angle. Oh, they're going to call the foul against Corey Bennett here. Bennett felt he was pushed, but the follow-through bundles over Leggett.
I thought it was a good call by the referee. First of all, fantastic delivery, but look how compact the Monterey centre-backs are. And as Bennett loses his balance, he's going to come in. He's actually going to take out the Monterey player there. And that allows the ball to get back into Colorado's possession.
Well, Monterey Bay gave it right back from the restart. And Hanya wasn't able to score, but my goodness, Monterey Bay playing with fire here. They gave it away almost immediately.
Well, they try to take it quickly. Here comes that incredible pressure by Colorado. And Hanya is sliding and making Dalton's day very, very difficult.
You almost feel at this point that Monterey Bay need to hold it at 1-0 into halftime, or they could be in big, big trouble here.
The fact is, they're playing with such speed in all parts of the field. I'm trying to look for outlets for Monterey to use. There isn't any.
That was headed forward by Creek, and then spooned forward by Nico Gordon. Lovely hold-up play. Elijah Paul for Rebelar. Rebelar's held up by Creek. Back to Milesevic. Played a dangerous ball back to his goalkeeper, who's lost it here. Dalton, can he keep it in play? He can. Oh my goodness. Monterey Bay finally get the free kick. Couple of moments where Kieran Dalton has put his side nearly in a very, very bad spot.
There's an old saying, if you apply enough pressure, the pipe will burst. And Colorado is relentless. They have to go all the way back, Monterey, to Dalton. Takes his eye off the ball there. And now he has to scamper back. And black shirts are everywhere. They're swarming, hunting in packs.
Dalton was very, very fortunate there.
And very deliberate as he kept his eye on the ball on that trap.
Well, you got to credit
black
Alan
shirts,
McCann's
Sean.
switchbacks. They're all over them here. You can almost feel the sharks circling the waters.
There's nowhere to go.
5 minutes plus stoppage time left in the half. And a miscued touch by Hanya gives it back to Monterey Bay.
You know, you brought up the altitude. That's always a factor in Colorado. Can they themselves keep up this pace? That's always a big question mark as well for pressing teams. I mean, if
Sporting Kansas City would tell you, yeah, they could keep it up.
Correct, yeah. Oh, that's a foul. Now, Monterey Bay can use this is a boxing analogy, could do the old rope-a-dope and just sort of hang in there, like you said, maybe get deep into the second half at 1-0. If Colorado does lose their legs, maybe you creep back in then.
But this feels like a very important 4 or 5 minutes for Monterey Bay. We've seen Jordan Stewart's side be able to show that kind of bounce back ability at times this season, but it hasn't been really a sustainable amount of it, really. Right now, they're just trying to hang in. Maples. To Roma, who's been excellent. The goal scorer, Perez. Lovely incisive feed for Burner, who scampers past Egu. Oh, and then Hanya wasn't on the same page with Masareka. Creek sliding in. Switchbacks doing everything they can to win the ball back, but they give away a free kick.
And with that intensity will come fouls. So if Monterey can hold their cool or hold their own and screen the ball off, they will win free kicks to get themselves out of jail.
Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From grassroots to the pros, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select product specials and more. Select is the player's choice. More pressure from the Switchbacks. Garcia hoofs it down this near side.
Superbly done by Monterey. Instead of coming through the middle, they're going around the sides. Rebelar makes that late run. It doesn't come to fruition, but they win the throw now in the attacking third.
Can Jordan Stewart's side get a little bit of a foothold here before the end of the half? Well, the early return on that is no. They give it right back.
But I'm glad you asked the question. And the answer to that is, Sean, I really don't think so. This Colorado team knows exactly what time it is. Their coach is going to be reminding them they want one more before this half.
Maples. Burner hooks it forward. Joseph settles it down for Ross. Lovely control there by Wesley Leggett. Milesevic on this far side. Early cross is blocked. And then Ross clatters into Hanya.
Well, between Creek and Hanya in midfield, They're engaging on every loose ball, 50-50s, winning free kicks as a result. Hanya was over on the right-hand side early on in the first half. Now he's in the middle of the park. They're fluid. And boy, oh boy, the pressing is impressive.
Well, Mahoney is going to direct the Switchbacks to push forward and make way for Colin Shuttler. Shuttler's ball is over the top. Good header away by Nico Gordon, out for a throw. Elmar Joseph's header to Wesley Leggett, who just threw himself to the ground there. I think everyone knew what was happening on that particular moment.
He was about to be corralled into a pocket of Colorado shoots, try to win the free kick.
Here is Masareka. Masareka stands it up. Oh, and the volley is excellent from Corey Bennett. Corey Bennett plucks it out of the sky to double the Switchbacks lead. An amazing goal. And the Switchbacks lead by 2-0.
Well, Hanya and Masareka switch positions. Masareka now comes to the right-hand side. He now turns into a provider rather than a goal scorer. He lures Garcia into the tackle. And look at this volley, Sean. Da-da-dan, da-da-dan. Enjoy it on Sports Center, on loop. Look at technique by Bennett. We talked about him playing off of the shoulder of the wingers, how well he's been finishing. 5 goals in 7 matches. Make that 6 in 8. To have a finisher like that, to complement all of your pressing and chances created, is just the icing on the cake for any team, because it is the hardest thing to do in the sport, is to get the ball in the back of the net.
Switchbacks goals are brought to you by Gold Hill. Both of the goals have been of the highest quality.
Wow.
Into 3 added minutes brought to you by the TikTok shop. The Switchbacks get their second goal. It's Corey Bennett's 5th goal of the season, by the way. And he struck it so sweetly out of the sky from Masareka, who's continuing his dream week here with Colorado Springs. Monterey Bay have a player down. Away from the action, looks like it's Wesley Leggett who needs a moment.
But I love the invention by Coach McCann, asking Masareka to come to the right-hand side now, have Hanya go to the left. It's a different look. He lowers Garcia into the challenge, then whips this ball right into Bennett's path. But Bennett had so much to do, Sean. He had so much more to do, Bennett, and he still found a way to volley it into the side netting.
Now Leggett takes the free kick quickly here for Monterey Bay. Here's Rebelar. Milesevic into the middle. It's a flicked-on header. In the end, Burner has it covered. It rolls out of play with about 40 seconds left in the half. A half that I'm sure Colorado Springs won't want to end.
And I think Monterey Bay is going to ask for 30 minutes at halftime, because they would not want to come back out of the locker room. Well, they have every right to dance.
Well, I'm sure one of the big question marks would be, could the Switchbacks take the performance against SKC and carry it over into the weekend? Again, early returns are a resounding yes. It's almost been a carbon copy.
They've been dancing all week.
Switchbacks fans will wonder, why can't all weeks be like this?
Well, there is times throughout the season, well, there are times throughout the season where you have these peaks. And if you can take advantage of those peaks, which they're doing right now, how long can you extend this motivation, this drive?
Halftime in Colorado Springs. An excellent first half from the Switchbacks. A pinpoint, picture-perfect free kick from Adrian Perez opened the scoring in the 18th minute. First half stoppage time, an exquisite volley from Corey Bennett doubled the Switchbacks lead.
Well, they continue to write the chapter from the Kansas game on Wednesday. They use the page out of pressing up high, and by the press, that will start our attacks and get our rhythm going. They played like a bunch of frenetic sharks, like you mentioned, and that paid off, gave themselves confidence, and got them into the game early, and they have not looked back.
We'll see if Monterey Bay can come up with a response in the second half. More superb play from the Switchbacks here at the weekend. They lead by 2-0. We'll look around the rest of the USL Championship at halftime in Colorado Springs.
Tell me, are you ready?
The big man gets his first with Colorado Springs.
Sponsored by McDivitt Law Firm. When it comes to accuracy, the News 5 weather team has it.
Hey, watch this.
He's out!
Now that's accuracy.
News 5 meteorologist Alex O'Brien. When you want the most reliable forecasts, her accuracy makes all the difference.
Tell me, are you ready?
The big man gets his first with Colorado Springs.
Sponsored by the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park.
At KOAA News 5, the stories of our neighbors create connections, and those connections build our community. Around here, imaginations soar. Moments are captured. Strangers connect. Problems are solved. Lives are changed. Your voice is heard. Because together, we tell the story of us.
Halftime at Widener Field. The Switchbacks are all over Monterey Bay so far. By 2-0 they lead. Get to the second half coming up in just a few moments. But first, tonight's honorary healthcare professional of the match is Moses Ayaji, Director of Business Development for Penrose Hospital. Thank you very much, Moses, for all you've done to help our community. And so far, the Switchbacks have helped themselves to 2 goals here against Monterey Bay. At the halftime break, they've been wonderful. We'll see if they can keep it up in the second half. We'll take a break here. During the break, you get to see how the USL Championship players are doing on the world stage.
With the field for World Cup 2026 now set, the USL can enjoy its place in the countdown to history. Never before has an active USL player taken part in a World Cup. Until now. For the past 2.5 years, more than 30 players from USL Championship and League One battled through World Cup qualifying. This summer, 6 of them have a chance to hit the field for their respective country. Miami FC teammates Eloy Rom and Jurgen Locadia made history, helping Curacao qualify for the World Cup for the first time ever. Curacao will face Germany, Ivory Coast, and Ecuador in group play. And for the first time since 1974, Haiti will take part in the World Cup, following a very unique road through qualifying. 4 championship players, Duke Lacroix and Garvin Matusala of Colorado Springs, Delence Pierre from FC Tulsa, and Carl Sente from New Mexico United, led Haiti through qualifying without playing a home match. Now the Haitian team faces a tough group at the World Cup with matches against Brazil, Morocco, and Scotland. But while World Cup qualifying owned the spotlight in late March, several USL players took part on U.S. youth national teams, also on the world stage. Colton Swan of Charleston Battery scored a goal for the U.S. under-20 team against Argentina in Argentina. Orange County SC's Tyson Espy played for the under-17 team in Paraguay. And the U.S. under-18 team played in Portugal, featuring Ramiz Hamuda from Birmingham Legion, Brandon Days of Louisville City, and Jameer Johnson from Orange County SC.
This week on USL All Access, more interviews, less of us. The Detroit midfielder Maxi Rodriguez.
For that back post again, Rodriguez scores! That's the way to start it for Detroit City at home!
The El Paso manager Junior Gonzalez, and plenty of talk about the Open Cup and those unbeaten and those recently beaten in the league. You'll see it SiriusXM FC or the USL YouTube page every Tuesday night.
This one slipped through nicely for Williams! Shining once again for Hartford. Quizera settles. Jodea Quizera!
Today, we accomplished nothing. I mean it, not a thing. And it was kinda everything.
This spring, stay 3 nights and get a $50 Best Western gift card.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
Prinks Tires in the USL help soccer journeys everywhere to drive harder. From city playgrounds to suburban sidelines. From early mornings to late nights. From fun with friends to winner takes all. From the biggest fan to the biggest heart. And at every turn, Prinks Tires will be there for the long haul.
Tell me, are you ready?
The big man gets his first with Colorado Springs.
Sponsored by the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park.
It is halftime in the USL Championship. Time for headlines around the league. We hope you're enjoying your match so far. I'm Dan Lucas inside the USL studio. Great job this week by Louisville City and Colorado Springs Switchbacks with cup sets in the third round of the US Open Cup. Louisville knocked off Austin FC 2-1, while Colorado Springs dominated Sporting Kansas City 3-0. El Paso Locomotive is literally beginning to motor its way through the championship. After their 4-0 win at Hartford Athletic, El Paso moved into second place in the Western Conference. El Paso is tied with Louisville City for most goals scored heading into Week 7 with 14. USL's young players continue to shine in the spotlight, and this week we feature Brandon Days of Louisville City. The U.S. Youth International scored his first professional goal last weekend. Some of his measurables include 21 clearances already, and he has won close to 60% of individual duels during matches played. The USL Championship has a pair of upcoming national broadcasts. Next Saturday is El Clamico in the Prinks Tires USL Cup. Then on Saturday, May 2nd, Detroit City hosts Louisville City. Both matches are on CBS Sports Network. Those are your championship headlines. We're getting closer to the second half. Let's get you back out to your man.
Welcome back, everybody. Lots to look forward to tonight in the USL Championship. Most of the games on ESPN Plus, the one game on CBS Sports Golazo Network. Pittsburgh Riverhounds taking on Detroit City. Lots of playoff history between those teams. Big game as well. Miami, we're looking very good at the moment, taking on Phoenix. El Paso Locomotive taking on San Antonio. That's a fierce rivalry as well. Hartford and Loudoun, another one to look on. And then 10 p.m. in the West, Oakland against Tulsa, Orange County against Lexington. Lexington in need of a bit of a bounce back, but Danny Stone's men currently at the top of the West. We will see if they're able to continue their really strong start to the season. We'll step aside here with the Switchbacks leading by 2-0 at the half. Highlights, stats on the second half kicker coming up after the break.
Tell me, are you ready?
The big man gets his first with Colorado Springs.
Sponsored by McDivitt Law Firm. When it comes to accuracy, the News 5 weather team has it.
Hey, check this out.
He's out!
Now that's accuracy.
News 5 meteorologist Alan Rose. When you want the most reliable morning forecast, his accuracy makes all the difference.
Tell me, are you ready?
The big man gets his first with Colorado Springs.
Sponsored by the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park. When it comes to accuracy, the News 5 weather team has it.
Hey, watch this.
He's out!
Now that's accuracy.
News 5 meteorologist Alex O'Brien. When you want the most reliable forecasts, her accuracy makes all the difference.
Sean St. Jacques, Ryan Davis, our entire crew, happy to have you with us. Switchbacks up 2-0 at the half over Monterey Bay. We'll have the second 45 minutes from Widener Field coming up in just a few moments. But first, we get to look back at the first half highlights, and Ryan, 2 exquisite goals.
Yeah, Perez starting with an absolute gem. A left-footed David Beckham. Bending, whipping, curl, dip. And it gives them a meaningful 1-0 lead to reward them for all their pressing and hard work up top.
What a way to get your first goal for your new club. It was a sensational strike just out of the reach of Kieran Dalton. And then, well, Corey Bennett tried to one-up him with an excellent volley out of the sky.
Nesareka does a great job turning provider, and what a finish by Bennett. He just sides-footed calmly into the back of the net and gives them a 2-0 lead again. Because of their pressing, because of their pressure in midfield, has allowed them to create enough chances and a deserved 2-0 lead at the half.
5 league goals already for Corey Bennett, right at the thick of the early Golden Boot race in the USL Championship season. Halftime stats tell quite a bit of a story. No shots, let alone shots on target for Monterey Bay. The Switchbacks have had nearly 60% possession, and they've had just about all the chances.
Yeah, and that comes from breaking up plays in midfield, and Monterey just unable to get out their own half. 7 shots and then 4 of them on target, which means those shots are quality shots to test the goalkeeper. Switchbacks are not looking back after that Wednesday win.
That's something we were talking about earlier. Could the Switchbacks replicate that Open Cup performance against Sporting Kansas City here today? The answer so far is a resounding yes. Again, fans and along with us, just about ready for the start of the second half. There'll be another interruption, but what hasn't been interrupted has been the great play that the Switchbacks have brought to the table But now you shift things over to Jordan Stewart. What's inside of his head? What do the Seasiders from Monterey Bay have to do to try and slow down the Switchbacks here?
Well, towards the end of the first half, they decided to come around the sides and try to attack the wings to find some space. It didn't turn out perfect, but it was better than the other decisions they were making, and I think they're going to continue to do that. And remember, as much as you push forward, that means there will be space behind. If Monterey can get one back by exploiting that space, game on.
Still within that realm where Monterey Bay can maybe manufacture a path back into the game, but it's going to have to happen sooner rather than later. Teams switch sides at the start of the second half. Monterey Bay will be going from left to right, and the Switchbacks have a throw in deep in their own half on the far side.
There's only one term to describe Colorado's style of play right now. It is heavy metal soccer. Loud, in your face, no apologies, and it is causing havoc in the attacking third.
Monterey Bay made a couple of changes. We'll get to that in a moment. Foster's ball into the middle. It's a cushioned header. And the chance is hit high into the air. Foster keeps the ball in play. And then it's finally scooped clear and out of harm's way.
Well, Masareka's left foot is causing him to blush. May not be the best of finishes, but again, it shows when Foster now comes down the sides, more attacking flair on that left-hand side.
Amari Glasgow and Eduardo Blancas came in for Monterey Bay at the half for Adrian Rebelar and Nick Ross. That is stood up towards goal. And it's going to bounce over the top and out of play. He'll start again with Colin Shuttler out of his own 18. He's trying to find Masareka. It is a Switchbacks throw on the far side.
Now, if you're Colorado, understanding what got you to this point was your intensity. Question is, can Creek and company keep up that intensity? It is almost humanly impossible to do so. Can Monterey stay in the game long enough, though, to expose maybe some tired legs halfway through the second half?
Alan McCann had a really interesting thought on Brennan Creek when we asked about him earlier this week. He said Brennan needs the instructions to be as clear as possible as to how he's going to make an impact in the game. He said, listen, sometimes it hasn't been that way, and he's out there wondering what he needs to do when he's thinking too much out there on the field. When he's able to focus more and just really let the game flow, well, you're starting to see the results of that. It's been all positive.
So you don't just wind him up and put him on the field? Because it seems that way sometimes. But I tell you what, to give him with such a high motor, any sort of direction, he can just close things down and really create havoc. And this was a free kick. Look at the challenge. And sometimes it's the person putting in the tackle that gets the worst of it. And Bennett, that right ankle of his turned when he lunged into the actual, when he created contact.
They attend to Patrick Berner here on that far side, as Wesley Leggett rejoins the fray. Well, Patrick Berner showed some good signs in the Open Cup as well. Coming off the bench for the Switchbacks, he gets the start today. He's been really, really good, as have Colorado Springs. Good to see Berner back up. There's a look at Alan McCann, his first year in charge of Colorado Springs, but he's been here through multiple regimes over the years and been a massive part of multiple really good waves of Colorado Springs Switchbacks teams, including, of course, the team under James Chambers that won the title 2 years ago.
What an opportunity for him now to actually be at the helm, take everything that he's learned over the last few seasons and put it to work on the field.
Well, we'll keep an eye on Patrick Berner, as I'm sure will Alan McCann and his staff. Here it is Eduardo Blancas, the substitute, up ahead to Sebastian Leggett. Plays it down the line. First time ball across, touched away by Matt Mahoney. Poked forward by Hanya. And then the balance of Adrian Perez, just wonderful. And he wins a throw-in for the Switchbacks.
Well, he's a wily old veteran, Adrian Perez. And he knows every inch of the USL Championship. He was about to be corralled to the sidelines. And because of that incredible footwork, wins a throw-in.
Brief cheer there was for Patrick Berner running back onto the field. So the Switchbacks are back to 11.
The man from Martinique.
Here is Masareka. He pushed and chases it down this far sideline.
Wow.
And he was able to catch up to it, to just about keep it in for a moment to win the Switchbacks a throw.
He embodies everything this Colorado team is doing for the last couple of days. Leaving everything on the field. He's quick, he's decisive, and then also he's leaving nothing behind. He may have to be substituted halfway through the second half because of the amount of effort, but that's exactly what his coach wants.
Perez was not fouled, according to the referee there. Certainly the Switchbacks wanted that. Chance here for the Guyana international, Amari Glasgow. And Glasgow is going to be fouled. He was tripped up, and that's going to be a yellow card for Patrick Berner.
Well, Amari Glasgow can play left or right. He's drifted out to the left-hand side today, and that is a clear yellow card. A professional foul, no chance of getting the ball, clipped his heels. Everyone in the stadium and all around Colorado saw it.
Diverse is health, yellow card, mental health and well-being for all. Remember to take a moment to breathe. And it's a set piece for Sebastian Leggett and Monterey Bay in desperate need of a riposte early in the second half.
They just need a goal, Sean. They've scored 2 in the last 5 matches. They need a little bit of a feel-good feeling.
Leggett floats it towards the edge of the area. Gordon's header. It's an overhead kick away. Sent back to the edge of the area for Creek to clear it. Glasgow settles it down for Garcia. Masareka forces Garcia back to the goalkeeper, Dalton, who miscues it here. Masareka and Bennett, neither could find a teammate. And again, Monterey Bay can't definitively clear this away. Still trouble here. Glasgow with Creek. Glasgow lost it. And Kelsey Egu finally clears it away. Very sloppy from Monterey Bay. They're lucky they weren't punished. Here come the Switchbacks again. And that pass from Perez nearly slithered through. Good clearance by Gordon.
Oh, what a touch.
Elijah Paul does well here for Monterey Bay. Tries to play it across. Foster's there defensively. Paul gets it back. Plays it for Milesevic on this near side, and Milesevic loses it out to Foster.
I love the body language of this Monterey team, though.
Blancas over the top, lovely little dink from Leggett. Paul back over the top for Sebastian Leggett, who's in an offside position, and the promising move ends there for the Seasiders. Well, at Bellevue University, your success is the only thing that matters. That's why they offer education that's designed to help you achieve your next goal. Find out more at degrees.bellevue.edu/goals. A free kick to get it back into play for Colorado Springs.
Goalkeepers have huge responsibilities. Yes, of course, to save goals and so on. But they set the tone of the side in regards to ease of play, neatness, being tidy at the back, motivating your backline, keeping your backline sort of connected. And then also in modern football, distribution is a huge part of goalkeeping, and Dalton is not ticking any of the boxes right now. I mean, he pulled off a fantastic save in the first half, but since then, he's been very, very shaky. And this one is a free kick. It looks like bundled over. It's going to be Monterey's ball. But he's been very shaky with the ball at his feet, and that becomes contagious for the rest of the players on the team. They start to become discouraged when Dalton is making a comedy of errors in the back line, and that's a real problem for the coach at this point.
It is Kieran Dalton's first start of the season, and it showed a little bit. Fernando Delgado's been normally in goal. Jordan Stewart obviously made the switch. Kieran Dalton has had some trouble.
And yeah, you know, this is just his first look, his first game, like you said. But right now, he just has to be a little bit more prepared when the ball comes to his feet.
Can Monterey Bay find an answer here? It's crossed into the middle. Mahoney and company are able to clear this away. And now the Switchbacks could pounce on this opportunity here. Perez through the middle, just out of the reach of Masareka. Belmar Joseph being hounded here by Perez. That's Elijah Paul for Glasgow. Back into the path of Paul. Flag's going to stay down here. Leggett's in the middle. Elijah Paul cuts it back and finishes. The Switchbacks are incensed here. They thought the flag should have gone up. Monterey Bay won't care one bit. Elijah Paul scores, and Monterey Bay are back in it. It's 2-1.
Well, Shuttler, the goalkeeper, better ask Adrian Perez if it was offside. Look at Perez in number 5 at the bottom of your screen. He kept him onside. And now it's a foot race. And Paul took his time, Sean, and he just slotted it home. He used the 2 blue shirts running in as a decoy. He backpedaled. Ordonez fell for it. And look at the technique to nestle it into the far post. Game on. Remember, we talked about if you push high, there will be room behind. And Monterey Bay made use of that. And a fantastic finish by Paul.
First goal of the season for Elijah Paul. Scored 4 regular season goals for Monterey Bay last season. And the mood has quickly changed. Here's Wesley Leggett. Oh, and this time the flag does go up on this near side. A very, very late flag.
Well, Leggett can't believe it because he was keeping an eye on Ordonez when that ball was played to him out wide. That's why he looked at the linesman like, how could it be?
Well, of course, both teams, either way, were convinced.
Yeah.
The assistant referee's got the best look, of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
Well, Shuttler's going to send this ahead, and the game already feels very different.
Well, heavy metal soccer requires intensity. How long you can keep up that intensity is a different question. It's time for Colorado to get on the ball and start bossing the game again. Every time Monterey now, after they just got the goal, now they get back possession. Their confidence is starting to go higher and higher. And now they're trying to play the ball directly behind that back line.
We mentioned this earlier. We've seen moments like what we just saw there where Monterey Bay have shown signs of life. They've been able to bounce back in games as Paul is penalized here. But then it kind of has fizzled out after that. It happened against Indy. They got it back to 1-1. Indy then re-controlled the game the rest of the way. They win it by 3-1. That's happened multiple times to Monterey Bay this season. They have 30 minutes to try to change that narrative here and come back and get something. Talon Maples over the top. That's out of reach for Hanya. And our referee, Robert Vince, just wanted the throw-in taken from the right spot there. Crowd getting behind the hosts here. Dalton for Gordon.
Love it.
Gordon just eases past any would-be challengers there. And nearly played a lovely ball over the top for Glasgow, who does appreciate the attempt.
And Sean, you can see the pressing doesn't have the same intensity as it did. He got out of jail really easily there. In that first half, he'd have been swarmed and pickpocketed.
DeRoma. No foul. Leggett was on his hip. It's a Monterey Bay throw. Worth noting as well that goal from Elijah Paul is just the 3rd goal that Monterey Bay have scored all season. And they needed it so, so badly.
And you can see just from right there what the instruction is try to be direct. Try to be aggressive with the ball when it gets to your feet. There's no side-to-side passing. There's no let's build up together. Of course, from the back here, yes. But once the ball pops into midfield, be direct. Heavy metal, Jurgen Klopp style.
Bennett, loose touch. Won back by Kelsey Egu. This is Sebastian Leggett. Fouled by Creek. Free kick.
Well, the Tasmanian Devil, because he plays with that intensity, will take out bodies.
Glasgow, oh, it's a lovely layoff here. The shot is blocked. Still falls for a chance. Cleared away by Maples. That was a real opportunity there for Monterey Bay to get it back to a tie scoreline.
But it's a little pass back into his path is what sets everything up. The first forward ball to the striker leaves it back into the path of the attacking midfielder, and that creates space on top of the 18-yard box.
Egu out wide for Glasgow. Glasgow tried to maneuver past a few Switchbacks players, couldn't find the way. Hanya forward for Bennett, who's fouled by Gordon. And that'll be a Switchbacks free kick.
What a matchup these two are. We have the former Birmingham City big central defender, and then we have the Jamaican national team center forward. All hands, no ball.
It's a free kick here as the referee, I think, is going after Brennan Creek, who I believe is going to be coming out here.
I love this change. This Colorado team needs some fresh legs in midfield.
Two changes, in fact. Sam Williams, who's been excellent at times this season for the Switchbacks, he's in for Brennan Creek. And then Juan Tejada comes in for Adrian Perez, who leaves after scoring that really impressive goal earlier. They're brought to you by All Copy, office technology partner of the Switchbacks FC.
Now, Tejada is a versatile player, but I'm not sure if he's versatile enough to play center midfield or holding midfield where Adrian Perez was playing.
Set piece here for Williams and the Switchbacks, trying to reestablish their two-goal cushion. Williams really had some pace on that. The central header is caught by Kieran Dalton, who outlets to Elijah Paul, who may have outstretched his arm there. And Paul is going to be yellow carded.
It has crept into the game where the player who has the ball, sometimes they use their arms to screen the oncoming player. And that was very, very, very light. And to get a yellow card from that, Paul is obviously frustrated. He's looking at the ball this way. He's trying to fend the player off. He's trying to look for the player or feel for him. And his finger inadvertently goes in his eye.
Isaiah Foster, by the way, who picks up that foul, is very fortunate the referee saw it that way. He's on a yellow. You can be given a yellow card for diving and embellishing contact. The referee deemed there was enough contact in it to warrant the foul and a free kick. Sam Williams again from a set piece for the Switchbacks. About 25 minutes plus stoppage time to go. And we're being told that Jordan Stewart and the bench from Monterey Bay were just given a yellow card. They clearly didn't agree with the decision.
He sees this window for his team to creep back in, and he does not want it to slip away.
Williams from the free kick. Another good ball in. It's flicked on and over the top, but it's out for a corner on the far side.
Well, a chance for Maples and Mahoney to make some noise. No Adrian Perez to provide the service with his left foot. That's going to cause some relief for Dalton.
It's going to be a McDivitt Law Firm corner. McDivitt is in your corner. Williams will try again. Oh, now the referee not happy with some of the action involving Nico Gordon. Blancas and Hanya given a word or two as well. Williams from the corner. It's towards Mahoney. And the foul's going to go against Colorado Springs and end the set piece chances there. This portion of the game is brought to you by Sunbelt, local hustle, national muscle. There's a player down here. Looks like it's Colin Shuttler. While Shuttler's being looked after, Monterey Bay are going to make a change here. That's going to be it for Sebastian Leggett. Definitely had some more quality moments in the game for the Seasiders. Kevin Nadja is going to take his place. And we get our first real look at Kevin Nadja this season. It's his first appearance of this 2026 campaign, and of course his first appearance with Monterey Bay, coming over from the Eredivisie.
Well, the Dutch Eredivisie, always known for its touch on the ball, technical abilities. So we're going to expect some Kevin Nadja technical, let's not say perfection, but technical skills on the ball, as that league promotes that style of play.
Shuttler's back up, trying to shake it off.
Have to say Monterey Bay is creeping back into this match. Colorado has lost some of its steam. I mean, they had to eventually. And Monterey Bay, give them credit. We talked about being that rope-a-dope boxer on the ropes, just buying your time. They did that, and Paul took his goal delightfully. And now they have some belief that they can get past this press and get behind that back line again.
There's the confirmation of the Nadja substitution. Again, subs are brought to you by All Copy. Well, soccer season is here, and SeatGeek is the official ticketing partner of the USL. Get all your USL tickets and more from the #1 ticketing site. SeatGeek is your ticket to great seats. You saw there Monterey Bay immediately trying to test Colin Shuttler after that injury stoppage. And Shuttler passes that initial test as well. Ends up with a ball looped over the top, and Dalton can let it roll out for a goal kick. Nadja, lovely little touch there in the middle of the park. Belmar Joseph with a couple of step overs, loses the ball. This could open up here for Colorado Springs. Hanya plays it across, and Dalton is there. Hanya had maybe a couple of other options.
Well, he had his square option. The player was just yawning, about to approach the 18-yard line, and Hanya tried to be a little too direct.
That comes off the hand of Masareka. Free kick from Monterey Bay, just over 20 minutes of normal time left. Could be in for a good finish here at Widener Field. Elijah Paul commits the foul, has to be careful on the yellow card. Here's Foster. Masareka. Masareka to one, Tejada, who scores brilliantly. That's 2-2 from Juan Tejada. And the Switchbacks lead by 3-1. Another wonderfully taken goal from Colorado Springs tonight.
Well, he was once called the fox in the box for a reason. He popped right up, and the shortest man with the longest hair tucks it away. It looks like a player full of confidence. One touch, corner pocket. That's a striker who is dialed in and ready to score. He scored on Wednesday, and he scored again today, full of confidence. That's exactly what a coach wants to see. Simplicity. Masareka, of course, being the provider. Tejada being the finisher.
Juan Tejada's first league goal of the season. And all of Monterey Bay's hard work to get back into the game has gone up in a puff of smoke. And Alan McCann continues to push all the right buttons for Colorado Springs.
Yeah, lovely changes. They needed fresh legs to keep up that tempo. But as the play broke down in midfield, it really gave Colorado a chance. And, you know, again, Masareka just chewing up open space, drawing two defenders, allowing Juan Tejada to get open because of his ability to draw defenders. And here they come again.
Here comes Hanya again. Touching it through for Masareka. He rounds the goalkeeper, goes down. And the referee's given a penalty. It's a yellow card for Dalton, whose afternoon into evening gets worse. And the Switchbacks have a penalty kick upcoming.
Well, a counter-attack for the ages. Hanya does the right decision. What a run by Masareka. And he just feels the contact, goes over. Easy call for the referee. Not sure how much contact there was, but Dalton's gloves were in the vicinity. No chance he's not going to get that call. And he can say thank you for the yellow card. Another red.
Diversus Health yellow card. Really, really rough day for Kieran Dalton. He does have a chance to make amends if he can save the penalty. Question is, for Colorado Springs, who's going to take it? Certainly Talon Maples is a candidate. So is the man putting the ball down, Corey Bennett.
I love that. Give it to your center forward. He has 5 goals under his belt. You want him to be in the race for the Golden Boot at the end of the year. That's what you want.
He's already converted 3 penalties this season in the league. A chance to slam the door shut here at Widener Field. Bennett against Dalton. And Bennett prevails. It's a brace for Corey Bennett. And the Switchbacks seem unstoppable this week here at Widener Field. They lead by 4 goals to 1. And they're rolling again here in the USL Championship.
Well, with that penalty that was given, they have been awarded the most penalties in USL Championship. Why? Because of speedy players like this and trickery around the box. And he looks left, goes right. You just love the hesitation. Nothing too fancy. He looks left, goes right, has Dalton bite, tuck it home. That's 3 on the board now. Make that 4.
We said it in the first half. Switchbacks fans will wonder why all weeks aren't like this week. 3-0 win over SKC. 4-1 lead over Monterey Bay, who make a couple of changes here. That's going to be it for Nico Gordon. Zachary Farnsworth takes his place. And it looks like Ryuga Nakamura is going to come in as well. He will replace Belmar Joseph Jr. More all-copy substitutions. And another Switchbacks goal, another pair of Switchbacks goals in quick succession, brought to you by Gold Hill in what's turning into be a golden day again for the Switchbacks in what's been a wonderful, wonderful week.
Sean, but let's talk about depth though. You bring Juan Tejada on to replace a speedy forward up top. So you get those legs to continue to run and to motor up top to create havoc. Then you have Sam Williams, who's a box-to-box player. You know, he comes in for Creek, provides that energy and quality in midfield. It's just non-stop for Coach McCann. There are 2 players for every position for Colorado, and that can prove to be very, very vital as the Prince Cup comes into play, US Open Cup continues, and this season wears on.
You make a great point, because Alan McCann, he's been here a while, first year as the head coach. He said, we've had great Switchbacks teams over the last few years. Not all of them have had the depth that this year's team has, and we're starting to see it glow and shine before us in multiple competitions.
I mean, you talk about Echevarria, who's injured, Speedy Williams, injured. All these players have to come back and earn their spot back on the field after these players who are on the fringe, let's say, won their spot.
Duke Lacroix injured as well. There's a lot of depth even on the injury list.
Wow.
Here comes Hanya! And Dalton makes the stop. It goes out for a corner on the far side, and the Switchbacks are humming again.
Well, he never stops running Hanya. Look at him making that forward run. Lovely ball. He wins the challenge here better than Garcia. I always am a proponent, make the keeper save. Yes, and he did exactly that. But I have to say, you want a little bit more quality on the finish because he was so close.
Yosuke Hanya trying to get on the score sheet himself. It's a McDivitt Law Firm corner. McDivitt is in your corner. Another delivery upcoming from Williams. And into the middle it goes for Bennett. Oh, and then the follow-up is saved by Dalton. Couple of really good saves from Kieran Dalton. From the long throw, headed out of play by Farnsworth.
Well, he's shown his quality in shot stopping, Dalton. Had some other shady areas in the other parts of his game today, but he certainly stepped up with his shot stopping ability. Try that a couple times.
It's going to be another throw in for Williams. Into the middle, it's Maples with the header, and Kieran Dalton is able to come down with it. This portion of the match is brought to you by Sunbelt Rentals, local hustle, national muscle.
That has a nice ring to it.
It's been hustle, it's been muscle, it's been pedal to the metal for the Switchbacks today. There's no questions about that.
And it's so easy on the eyes as well. Yes, he scores 4-1, but the type of goals he was scoring is electric.
You throw in Elijah Paul's goal for Monterey Bay, all the goals, aside for the penalty, of course.
Yeah, and that was
just
still a
been
nice penalty,
mesmerizing.
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, no question.
And this man, Hanya, he's worked his socks off, and the Japanese can take an ovation.
Hanya and Masareka are going to make way here. Talk about more depth. Jonas Fjellberg and Levante Johnson are coming in off the bench, both of whom, particularly Johnson, played very, very well against SKC in the Open Cup. Another all-copy set of substitutions there for Alan McCann.
And Fjellberg is that technical player. Now that Monterey is chasing the game, he can get the ball to his feet. He can slow it down, go side to side. There he is.
Tejada. Oh, lovely attempt to spin through here. Blancas comes back to beat him to the spot. And the Switchbacks will still keep it at Monterey Bay's half. I think a fan made a rather nice catch in the stands there.
He should play cricket.
Here's Levante Johnson, who tried to thread the needle for Corey Bennett, who, of course, is on a hat trick. Now has 6 goals at the start of this USL Championship season. The Jamaican has been off to a fabulous start, and of course scored in the Open Cup as well against Kansas City in the midweek.
You look at the tools that the tools of his trade. Of course, an excellent finisher. He can run at defenders. He has the ability to run in behind the back line to the ball to go over the top. He's good with the ball coming from the sides by Masareka and company. I have to say, Bennett has the whole package. And Colorado Springs have enjoyed some great finishers in their time over the last few years. Haji Berry being one.
It's going to be a foul and a free kick. Certainly, like you said, Haji Berry, Michi Galina, when he was here during the Brendan Burke days at Colorado Springs, was so instrumental at getting the Switchbacks back on track in a lot of different ways.
Give them credit. They want to have fun as an organization. They want to have attacking talent on display every week. And why not?
Well, you consider that, and then you look at the back line with a Mahoney-Maples partnership, Foster and Burner on the outsides. Pretty strong defensively there in theory. Again, we'll see how that materializes through the season. And yes, Monterey Bay are bottom of the table. They're going to go now into another spell of play without a victory in the USL Championship. However, off the back of beating an MLS side convincingly in the midweek. This will be a week that the Switchbacks fans will not only look back on fondly, but could be a week that gets them back on track overall this season in the Western Conference playoff chase. Paul's initial ball in was wayward. And Naja looks for his first goal for Monterey Bay. Wasn't a bad effort.
Well, he dragged his shot, but the touches by Naja so far in the last 3 or 4 minutes have been exceptional. And he does look like a person coming straight from the Netherlands.
Well, if you can't watch the match, turn on Sirius XMFC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access on Tuesday nights, plus your live matches from the USL, MLS, Premier League, and more, all on Sirius XMFC 157 and the Sirius XM app. Robert Vince, our referee, is asked for the ball back here. Switchback's going to make one more change. Frank DeRoma's day is done. And it is a return for Tyreek McGee, who they just re-signed from Mount Pleasant Football Academy in Jamaica earlier this week. He returns for his second stint with the Switchbacks. He was on the title-winning side back in 2024. He won more silverware with Mount Pleasant, helping them win the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup.
Well, he has huge feet to fill. DeRoma did a great job in midfield, box to box, breaking up plays. And now he has a chance to come in and fight for a position. We talked about that depth again. Got a new haircut as well.
Certainly Tyreek McGee enjoyed quite a few nice moments here as a Switchbacks player, as Johnson. Oh, referee never blew the whistle. Play continues. Egu clears it out of play. Interesting play on decision there from the referee. Either way, the Switchbacks keep the possession.
Well, McGee just got instructions of not to push forward.
Here is Johnson again. For Bennett! On a hat trick, and it was blocked away right on the edge of the 6. Still kept alive on this near side, and then eventually Monterey Bay win it back. Wesley Leggett, nowhere to go.
Well, Sam Gordon has done a great job staying right in the hip pocket of Bennett, just making himself a nuisance so the Jamaican couldn't get his third.
Paul into the middle. Decent attempt at a ball, to say the least, but Mahoney is going to clear it away. And then another attempt to sort of knife through, but Elijah Paul was in an offside position, and the attack fizzles out. Well, eFootball is here. Live your dream, rep your team, and play as your favorite USL Championship club. eFootball is free to play. Download now. It's going to be a foul and a free kick going the other way.
Let's see how Colorado handle these next few minutes. Are they going to push for another one? It seems like they have the type of players that play one way. Direct, forward, exciting. Do they have that sort of craftsmanship to slow the game down, just be technical, and keep possession? I have to believe that Coach McCann wants them to play one way alone.
Now that was loose from Garcia. Burner has real estate to run into. Finds Corey Bennett. Monterey Bay fans are not going to want to hear this, but it doesn't get any easier upcoming. Prinks Tires USL Cup. They play Oakland next. Then a home game against the Western Conference champs, FC Tulsa, before a trip to Lexington as we really get into the month of May. Jonas Fjällberg. Excellent take. Can he finish? Great save by Dalton. out for a corner as Fjällberg tried to join the party.
Well, we talked about his technical ability and why he came on. He can get through traffic with ease. Just a change of pace, and look at the ball control. But Dalton, fantastic stop. I mean, a blinder of a save. I mean, with shot stopping like that, it really does cover up some holes that Dalton may have at this point in his career.
It's a McDivitt Law Firm corner. McDivitt is in your corner. It will be the left boot of Tyreek McGee to deliver. He whips in a good ball. It's right towards Bennett. And Bennett was, well, certainly hounded and in traffic there as Dalton clears. It's picked up by Omari Glasgow. At least initially. Naja does well, plays it down the far side. Early cross into the middle is for Wesley Leggett, who may have left a little bit on Colin Shuttler, who makes the stop either way. Well, the USL Championship and League One are on CBS Sports and ESPN platforms all season long. Catch live matches and expert analysis every day on CBS Sports, Golazo Network, and ESPN+. Go to USLChampionship.com or USLLeague1.com for the complete USL TV listings. Had a really good game earlier today on CBS Sports Network, ended 1-1 between the Charleston Battery and the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
I think this is the time of the season where you start to see teams start to separate themselves from the groupings. And Charleston and Tampa Bay are one of those teams with Louisville that are going to start separating themselves from the Eastern Conference. This Colorado team, with their slow start, they're about to rejoin the pack and try to catch up with the teams that were separating from them.
You mentioned Louisville. They're actually in quite a battle right now, Lou City, against Sporting Jacks, of all teams. 87th minute, Sporting Jacks are still looking for their first win. That's a 0-0 scoreline right now at Lynn Family Stadium.
What a result that will be for the brand new Sporting Jacks.
So keep an eye on that game. And then, of course, the 7 p.m. hour Eastern Standard Time that we're about to enter. 3 games are going to kick off. Hartford and Loudoun, Miami and Phoenix, Pittsburgh, Detroit, before the Western Conference takes over in the nightcap.
Pittsburgh, Detroit. It just sounds like a tough match. It just sounds like iron on steel. Let's go.
You couldn't be more right about that. Great history as well in the playoffs last year, and then back in, I think it was 2023, Pittsburgh were the Players' Shield winners. Detroit went to Pittsburgh, beat them in the opening round, and then last year on penalties, Pittsburgh prevailed over Detroit and ended up winning the whole thing. It's always a grudge match when those two teams get together.
Sean, Colorado is playing with such swagger right now.
Johnson for Fjällberg. This would really put a cherry on top. But Fjällberg hits it into the side netting.
Well, Freeberg was the guy who switched the play to Johnson to begin with. And then he ends up right in the heart of the 18-yard box. The movement and the relentlessness in the attacking third by this Colorado team is a sight for sore eyes.
Eduardo Blancas just kicked some water over. Sign of frustration in the Monterey Bay technical area there, and he's been given 1 or 2 words from the officials here to not do that.
Uh-oh.
Oh, and more than that, he's going to be booked for kicking the water bottle over. Talk about adding insult to injury there. Well,
it's not so much this loss, it's the accumulation of losses.
Well, I think one of the reasons the referee gave the yellow here is because I believe the bottle nearly hit the assistant referee on the near sideline. Well, that was just flat out silly either way from Eduardo Blancas, but he nearly hits the referee with the bottle.
And the last thing Coach Jordan could use right now is a red card and a suspension for a player when his roster is already thin and the goals are even thinner.
Into stoppage time, brought to you by the TikTok Shop. 4 added minutes promised here at the end of the game. We have the luxury of some replays that we can look back at here. The water bottle did not hit the referee, but certainly came very, very close, and that's why the yellow card came out. Cannot do that. A very, very silly moment at the end of what's been another really difficult trip to Widener Field for Monterey Bay. It's going to be 7 games in a row where the Seasiders have left Colorado Springs with nothing.
That was superb by Shuttler. All the room is behind the back line because they've pushed so high up. And the sweeper keeper does an amazing job with his chest and then just clearing the ball to safety. And that allows this back line now to get so much confidence, understanding like a keeper like Shuttler is so aware and so good with the ball at his feet or chest.
Free kick for Monterey Bay here. We've had the chance to talk with Jordan Stewart, the coach for Monterey Bay, multiple times this season about different issues they've been trying to cope with, different things they've been trying to work on and improve. The bottom line, despite the positives we've seen in some games this season, the consistency hasn't been there, no matter who's been out there. Nico Gordon comes back today, and again, they feel that's a long-term, massive win. But at the moment, it's not working for Monterey Bay.
I think they had an impossible task today. This Colorado team, after beating Kansas, an MLS team, they came in here to just absolutely take no prisoners. And they did so in front of their fans. The pressing was relentless because of that energy that was given to them from that win from in midweek. It bled into this game. And as soon as they got that opening goal, it was just a frenzy after that.
As it stands, it's going to be 7 games without a win for Monterey Bay at the start of the season. Blancas' free kick is headed towards McGee. Blancas gets it back on this near side. Nadja. Milesevic into the middle. Headed down for Blancas. His shot is blocked. Switchbacks everywhere defensively just to get bodies in front. Nadja on the byline, it's touched out, and it'll be a corner with about a minute left.
Now, as a coach, you just want a positive play here. Maybe they get one in the back of the net. That carries over into practice on Monday. And then maybe they can use that to propel them for the next match.
It's a T. Rowe Price corner, invest with confidence. Blancas' corner is headed away.
Uh-oh.
And this could be a chance for the Switchbacks to really roll into the counterattack here with McGee. Tejada through the middle. Fjellberg on the overlap. Oh, it's McGee! Who tried to write the last headline, beg your pardon, of the night. But he cannot hit the target, frankly. He had multiple other options that were better.
How dare you, McGee? How dare you start a counterattack? You have black shirts making the run with you, and you try a 25-yard shot to try to beat Dalton from there. That will give a coach an ulcer on the sideline.
McGee again. And then it's a foul and a free kick for Fjellberg. 4 minutes are up. And that is full time. Another comprehensive Colorado Springs victory to end what's been a memorable week for the Switchbacks organization. They beat Monterey Bay by 4-1, and Monterey Bay find themselves 7 games into the season without a victory. The Switchbacks, after putting SKC to the sword in the Open Cup, do the same to the Seasiders in the league, and at the moment they jump up to 5th place in the West.
Like a pack of wolves at the beginning of the match, they hunted in packs, and the pressing set the stage for the rest of their game. It allowed them to settle into the match pretty quickly, playing relentless attacking football, and this man Bennett being at the forefront of that attacking display, getting goals, giving this team confidence, allowing them to play their style and get results by playing that style with players like Bennett and Masareka up top, converting chances.
A lot of good moments for Colorado Springs. Let's look at the critical moment of the match. It's brought to you by Common Spirit Health. And it began with Masareka on this near side.
And look at the finish by Bennett. He had so much to do. I mean, it was put on a platter. But boy, oh boy, it needed touch. It needed class. And Bennett is oozing it at the moment.
A lovely goal from the Jamaican that made it 2-0. And fittingly enough, Corey Bennett is our Groom Transportation Man of the Match. The Groom Airport Shuttle providing stress-free transportation between Colorado Springs and DIA. 2 goals for Bennett, 4 for Colorado Springs. A memorable week in the championship and the Open Cup for the Switchbacks. They beat Monterey Bay by 3 goals, and we'll come back to wrap it up after the break.
Tell me, are you ready?
Sponsored by McDivitt Law Firm.
At KOAA News 5, the stories of our neighbors create connections, and those connections build our community. Around here, imaginations soar. Moments are captured. Strangers connect. Problems are solved. Lives are changed. Your voice is heard. Because together, we tell the story of us.
Tell me, are you ready?
Sponsored by the Royal Gorge Bridge and Park.
Full time here at Widener Field in Colorado Springs. Another really, really good showing from the Switchbacks. They beat Monterey Bay by 4 goals to 1. Sean St. Jacques, Ryan Davis, our entire crew back here to wrap things up with full-time highlights. They're presented by McDivitt. We start with a worldie of a free kick from Adrian Perez.
Monterey did everything right to defend, but they can't stop this. This is just dip, curl, and whip. No chance for Dalton, and Perez gets this Colorado team going, and they will start to swarm.
What a way to get your first goal for your new club. And then Corey Bennett is able to pluck this cross out of the sky and make it 2-0 in first half stoppage time.
Well, it's a battle to see who scored the best goal of the day. Perez, and now look at this finish by Bennett. Delicate to finish off a fantastic cross by Masareka.
The Switchbacks were really rolling at that particular time. They were up 2-0 going in to the second half, but credit Monterey Bay. They hung tough, and Elijah Paul would get it back to 2-1.
High pressing means a high back line. Mahoney keeping Paul onside. He takes his time. Mahoney goes flying, and the technique to tuck it into the last post was superb.
First goal of the season for Elijah Paul to get it back to 2-1. It felt like a different game at that particular juncture. Monterey Bay felt like they had a route back into it until Juan Tejada came into the game and slammed the door shut.
Fresh legs. Williams, Tejada came into the match, and this one is slipped inside. Masareka at the helm again. He draws 3 defenders, not 2. 1 touch. Good night, buddy. That's now 3 goals to the good for Colorado. This is a striker in form, Sean. 1 touch, corner pocket.
2 goals in 2 games this week for Juan Tejada. That made it 3-1 and gave the Switchbacks their confidence and their control back. And then Corey Bennett would step up on the penalty spot. Masareka fouled by Kieran Dalton. It's a penalty, and the Jamaican would score.
Yeah, taking his time, looking left, going right. His body language sells the left, and he opens his hips right at the last minute to catch Dalton. So much confidence, and that's what penalties are, confidence.
2 for Bennett, 4 for the Switchbacks. They win it 4-1 over Monterey Bay. As you look at the full-time match stats, Monterey Bay had no shots at halftime. They rectified that, but despite getting back into the game, the Switchbacks put them away.
Pressing is on the defensive side of the ball, but it's a form of attack. It creates opportunities. 9 shots on target, 17 shots altogether, starting with their pressing up top in the first half, and it set the trend for the match for them to push on.
That's 7 regular season games without a win for Monterey Bay. They head back to the drawing board as it continues to be desperate times for them. The Switchbacks have a wonderful week in the Cup and in the league, beating SKC on Wednesday, and they beat Monterey Bay at the weekend by 4-1. For Ryan Davis and our entire crew, I'm Sean St. Jacques. So long from Widener Field. Colorado Springs wins it by 4-1, and they jump up to 5th in the West.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.